Hey guys, welcome to another New World video. In today's video, I just wanted to talk about a few more things that you should keep in mind while prepping for Brimstone Sands. With it releasing in only a few days, I know many of you will be scrambling to do as many things to give yourself the edge as possible. So let's just get into it. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was the event armors, particularly the patterns, as well as the patterns from the PvE arenas. First we have the event patterns from the Summer Medley Fair event. As you know, these sets craft guaranteed 600 gear score when crafted, and can be crafted at gear score 600 even without trophies, the armor set, even without maxing your armoring skill for that matter. Well, there is a huge stockpile of these currently on the market for every server because the Medley Fair event was a popular event. And I recommend purchasing as many of these as you can if they are at low value still, and here's why. After the Brimstone Sands patch, you are going to want to be running Greatsword. And post-patch, all of these event patterns are going to offer you a very fast, easy, and inexpensive way to get legendary gear. Gear with great perks, and you guessed it, Greatsword perks are even being added to the potential perk pool for these post-patch. So this will be a great way to get some gear very easily, guaranteed 600 with Greatsword perks, with no armoring even needed. The great thing here also is if you are a new or returning player who hasn't quite maxed all of their expertise just yet and are feeling a bit left behind and concerned about the fact that you may not be strong enough for Brimstone, self-crafted gear is an exclusion from the expertise squish that was introduced when the gypsum system was added. So if you craft yourself a set of this gear with the Great Axe perks, you will sort of cheat the system temporarily, allowing you to craft 600 gear score gear guaranteed without any of the prerequisites like trophies, gear, any of that normally needed to craft 600 gear score crafts, as well as bump your expertise by 2 for each craft, and on top of all of that, it won't squish. You will be able to wear it as 600 gear score gear regardless of your current expertise, and all without even needing any armoring skill. Pretty amazing really. So again, I suggest grabbing some of these while they are cheap. And next, the patterns for the PvE arenas. The Mossborn set, the Raiders, and the Spriggan Bane armor patterns. These are amazing and so easy to farm. They vary in price from server to server, ranging from 3k per pattern to 50k, but that's not exactly based on rarity, as much as being based on just how much the server has people farming the PvE arenas. These patterns are just amazing. They also, just like the last ones, allow you to craft guaranteed 600 gear score armor. However, with these ones, you will need to be max armoring to use them. Now the plus here is that again, you do not need anything, trophies, armoring trade set, none of it, as it always will craft 600 gear score. And the best part with these patterns, you don't even need cooldown materials. You can craft these with common mats at virtually no cost, receiving the same results as any legendary 600 gear score item. These patterns in Brimstone once again have the Greatsword perks added to their perk pool, so they can roll with Greatsword perks on them. And the bonus here is you can also here select a perk, which will allow you to guarantee these items have a Greatsword perk. However, the attribute roll will be random, so you may end up with a Bisque Greatsword piece or a Greatsword piece with focus. That's the risk. But if you farm these for the next 7 days, which is so easy especially if you run Sirens with a group of friends, you can virtually grind these in mass and start day 1 of Brimstone in solid Greatsword legendaries. Also, check your market, you can pick these up reasonably cheap some days. The items that you craft with these will also ignore the expertise squish, like the last ones I mentioned, and offer you expertise bumps when crafted. So again, a great item for the newer and returning players entering into Brimstone. I also want to mention again to everyone, do not miss your daily cooldowns on any of your crafting materials, and I'll explain why. If you go to your market on any server, you will see that currently the empowered counterbalance has exploded in price. This is because it is used after the patch to create a couple of legendary greatswords. Now of course, like any crafted items, these greatswords are nothing overly special. However, the reason everyone is banking these is because of 2 things. You can craft these swords, and like anything self-crafted, the item you craft will 1. Bump your expertise, and 2. Not suffer the squish that generally goes along with equipping an item way above your current expertise. If it is self-crafted, it remains 600 and you get all of the perks and stats associated with it. And of course at launch everyone will be 500 expertise greatsword, so this will be a massive advantage, but not one that will come cheaply. To craft these swords you will need counterbalances, but also 14 Asmodeum, 7 runic leather, and 10 glittering ebony. Not too bad, but definitely not cheap for some. Now, here's why I suggest not missing your cooldowns, and this is a much cheaper option. Along with Brimstone, we are getting the Halloween event, and with this event, new guaranteed 600 gear score patterns. And you guessed it, a Greatsword pattern is included in this. A guaranteed 600 gear score Greatsword, and not a bad one either. Now, here is the exciting part though. This pattern only requires 150 weaponsmithing to use, guarantees a 600 gear score Greatsword, which again does not squish when equipped because it is self-crafted, and on top of that gives you a +2 expertise bump when you craft it. But the best part, it only will cost you 10 Asmodium, 2 glittering ebony, and 1 runic leather. It requires no weaponsmithing armor, no weaponsmithing trophies, nothing. So hundreds of coin cheaper, and maybe even in some cases thousands to craft these, than the ones requiring the counterbalance, and the patterns are so easy to get. Just kill the boss each day and buy one. This will offer you a pretty inexpensive way to get an additional +2 bump each day along with your 2 gypsum casts, offering a very fast way to max your greatsword expertise and set you in a very strong position in both PvP and PvE. And my final tip for this video, so I can keep it short, is stop opening your OPR crates. Continue running them, run them even more than usual if possible, but save them. Greatswords are being added to these crates after the patch, and the loot in them is rolled for when you open them, not when you get them. So having a bunch of these banked for when the patch launches will also be a very good way to potentially get those bumps in greatsword expertise very quickly. Not to mention, some of these greatswords from the box seem not half bad. This of course also applies to the boxes you receive when running Tempest. As you can see, they have added a greatsword to those after the patch. So again, if you have a bunch of these saved up, this will again have the potential to greatly speed up your bumps and get you to 625 greatswords very quickly. So run Tempest and save those as well. Okay guys, that's all for today. If you can think of any other way for people to max their greatsword more quickly, let us know in the comments. And as always guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.